Good morning. Welcome to Asher and Torah Anytime. We are up to Big Rebbes, and we just finished where Gehazi inherited leprosy from Naaman, and he was sort of expelled from being Gaba. Now that Gehazi was out of the way, Gehazi used to hold control. Who can come, who can't come. He was like the gatekeeper of sorts, both over Elisha and over who can be a disciple from Elisha. So now that he was out of the way, suddenly, the place has gotten small. A lot of new a lot of new people came to join, and there was no place anymore. So we got to expand. Therefore, let's go down to the Jordan and let everybody take a beam, and let's make there a place. Let's make there a big besmedish, and there'll be enough place for all the Jewish people. And Elisha tells them, okay, let's do this. No, please come along with us. Don't just send us to do it on our own. And Elisha, the Rebbe said, okay, you got it. I'll come with you. So everybody comes together, and they're going to make this like DIY group effort, Chabura Besmedrish, where everybody chips in and brings a beam in order to make this all new inclusive place where there's no Gaba watching anymore and controlling who comes in, who comes out. Let's make a unified Besmedrish. So Elisha went, and they came to the Jordan, and they were cutting down trees. They were chopping lumber. There was one of these Talmidim, and he was felling a tree, felling a beam. And his axe fell into the water. And he's cried out, this axe is borrowed. Now, once upon a time, metal was a big deal, and an axe was a big deal. And if you borrowed an axe and you lost it, we got a problem. So Eliyahu Hanavi told him, "Oh no, where did it fall?" He showed him the place. He cut out from a piece of wood the handle of an axe. He threw it there. And it went into the axe head, and it floated back up. Which I found is very fascinating, because up until now, Elisha has like 16 miracles in his arsenal. So you would think that he would use up these miracles, for like Gewalt, when you're Melachim or huge big things. You get a lot of bang for your miracle buck. But here, just a plain little Talmud lost his axe, and Elisha uses one of his miracles just to help a Talmud with his axe. This is like a story of the holy man being really, really there for his people. Simple things, simple problems. The Rebbe has to be there for the simple problems too, for the people who lose their axe. There's a Chabura, they're building something together, they want to make a Mokum for Torah. One of the Echad Mebnei Chabura loses his axe. It's just as important as when the whole world is when this kid died, when Naaman the general comes with tzaras, and now you're going to make a Kiddush Hashem that's going to transform the whole world. Simple guy lost his axe. Vayomer, so Elisha tells us, Talmud harem lach, you can lift up the axe now. Vayishlach yodav yikachev, he takes it. Umelech Aram hoyo nilcham b'Yisrael, and at that time the king of Aram was battling with the Jewish people. Vayivoet el avodav le'emoed al makoim ploini. This is a very interesting story. So he speaks to his servants, and he makes with them like this clandestine plan, and that he's going to go into a hidden place. Al makoim ploini al moini tachanoisi. I'm going to lie in ambush over there, and whenever the king of Israel is going to go by, we're going to pounce on him then. And we'll kill him, we'll ambush him. So Yishlach Ishu Likim El Melech Yisrael. So Elisha sends to Yehoram, which you have to remember that Yehoram has very little respect for Elisha. So he sends him a message, guard yourself from going past this place. Because that's where Aram is lying in ambush and they're waiting for you. Vayishlach Melech Yisrael. So he sends his people to spy out the place, and yeah, it was true. So he waited sure not to go there. So this is happening again and again. That whenever he has this entire strategic, premeditated plan to kill Yehoram, every single time it gets foiled and he never shows up there. So he realizes that somebody is spilling the beans. Somebody is leaking sensitive inside info. So he got all upset. He calls the servants, who from our people is a rat? Who's the rat that's spilling the beans? I'm sorry, you got it wrong. Elisha the prophet. He tells the king of Israel what's going on in your bedroom, meaning in your hidden places. He knows what's happening, so he's the espionage. So Vayomer, so this king of Aram, this Ben-Hadad, where is he? I'm going to go take him. Which sounds almost fantastical. We speak about this, every Perek, you see this again and again, where you have these people, they have like these crazy miracles, but they still think that somehow they're going to get him. So they tell him that he's in Doisan, in Dotan. So they come at night and they make a siege around the city, and they're going to capture the prophet, who's actually somehow with his X-ray vision is seeing wherever their positions are. They're going to capture him now. So the Meshorish Ishu Elikim, so Elisha's Gaba, we don't know who he is now, because it's probably not Gechazi anymore, gets up in the middle of the night. He sees that it's surrounded by all these chariots, and it's surrounded by all of these horses, by all of this battle. So all these this entire army. He says, "Oy, Rebbe, what are we going to do now? We're surrounded. The world's coming to an end." Elisha tells his servant, "Don't be afraid, because we have more on our side than there is to their side. We have more. We have more." And he looks around, and there's nothing around them. So, what do you mean? So this is Mamash Gevald. That Vayispalel Elisha Vayomer, Elisha praised Hashem, and he says, "Hashem, Pekach, no as enov, open up the eyes from Mangaba, open up the eyes of this, of my Talmud or my servant, Vayira, and let him see. Let his eyes be opened, Vayifkach Hashem es Einei Anar, and Hashem opens up the eyes of the youth, Vayar. And suddenly he sees like this vision where Elisha is surrounded by thousands of soldiers and chariots from fire. Which is another miracle that he does for a simple fellow, just for his, just for his Talmud or his Gaba, who was afraid. He just opened up his eyes and he let him see the vision where we never know. Sometimes we think we see, and in our minds we assume, but we don't know. We don't know. It's like, what they say from Big Rebbes, that whoever survived the war had the two angels, the two Melachim with him, that were constantly with him. So sometimes you think it's a metaphor, but it could literally be that way. It could literally be that way. That there was two angels. Now could you imagine if you would see those angels? Then you wouldn't be afraid, because you would know that you have the angels. So many times when Hashem says don't be afraid, we have to imagine that, if my eyes would be opened, I would see now that I'm surrounded by warriors, by chariots, by fire. We're good. Nothing to be afraid of. So they go out of the city. He says, hit this nation with blindness. And suddenly they all become blind. But it doesn't mean that they were like physically blind. It's like the same thing that happened by Sodom, where Hashem Hika b'sanvedim means that they saw but they didn't chap. That's always the concept of when Hashem hits you with blindness. The question is, what's the blindness? So there's a literal blindness where you actually physically can't see. But then there's a real blindness where you see, but you don't connect the dots and you don't have the story. So the same thing happens over here. So Hashem, that's what happened by Lot and Sodom, was that they got hit by Sanvedim. And what was the idea? The idea was, what, are you crazy? You see here that everybody was suddenly hit by Sanvedim. So why are you trying to break down the door? If you're standing with 50 people or 1,000 people, and suddenly everybody becomes blind, why are you continuing to riot and try to, don't you chap that everybody just became blind? And the answer is, no, that was the blindness. The blindness was that you didn't chap, and didn't connect the dots, that if everybody becomes blind, it means like stop, contemplate, realize, change your ways. No, you keep on riding. So here the Hika b'sanvedim, he tells them, you're in the wrong path, my friends. Come after me, and I'll take you to the guy who you want to get. So Elisha, who's their target, is leading them, no more, no less. He brings them to the capital of the king of Israel. He brings them into Shomron. Now open their eyes. Let them see. And suddenly they chap. They realize they're in the capital of their enemy. So that's like a pretty shocking experience. When you were trying to capture somebody and you realize that the guy who you were trying to capture just brought you into enemy territory, so you pretty much, it's Purim afternoon. Suddenly Yehoram is saying Avi to the Navi, it's like, because he pulled off a good one. He said, should I kill him? Elisha says, no, of course not. It's not fair. You got to play fair. If you went out to battle and you captured him with your bow and arrow and you did it like a boss, like a man, so then it's fair play. But when you use the Navi to make them blind and lead them into your city, and now you just have them at your mercy, that's not fair play. Sim lechem u'mayim lefneihem, give him bread and water. Vayochlu vayishtu vayechol v'neihem. Give him to eat, give him to drink, and let him go. Let him go home. Make him a suda. That's like another way how you capture your enemy. Give him a suda. Give him like a good meal. Make a good verbringen. Vayichlu lahem keiro gedoylo. So he makes him a huge party. Vayochlu vayishtu. Verbrings with them. They send them back to Melech Aram. These gedudim, these soldiers, they never came back again. They were healed. They were reprogrammed. It's very hard to go fight against somebody who pulled off a miracle, could have killed you, and gives you a suda and brings with you and sends you peacefully home. Something changes. So it's a while afterwards, and again Melech Aram takes the soldiers on a battle of Israel. As kol machneu vayal vayotzer al Shomron, he surrounds Shomron. That means he makes a siege. That's one of the major military tactics, is you siege a city, and then everybody goes in and out, and eventually the food supply dwindles, and people become desperate. There's this tremendous hunger in Shomron, till the point as Rosh Chamoir b'shmoinem kesev, the head of a donkey was selling for 80 silver coins, which was, I guess, a huge amount for a very low-grade animal, which was not even an animal that people used to eat, and it was a behemoth tameya. That's to the point of how desperate people were. And a quarter of a kav of the soya from doves was b'chamisha kosef. So people would collect from the soya of the yoinim seeds that these birds eat. These birds ate seeds, so the seeds they would collect from the excrement of the yoina, so that they should be able to eat those seeds. That's the point of desperation that people reached. One day, Yehoram was going ala choyma. He was going around, once upon a time, the choyma, which was the city walls, were very wide. So he was going around making the rounds around on the city wall. She cried out, "Save me, king." So he thought that she's asking for food. A terrible story, this. He said, if Hashem doesn't give you, how can I help you? I'm in a goyden, I'm in a yakev, what can I give you? From the goyden, from the yakev, everything's dried out, there's nothing there. Is there something else you're asking? And she said, I made a deal with this lady that I would eat. She said, give me your son, your dead son, to eat. Cannibalism. And tomorrow I'll give you my son to eat. So they're trading dead children to eat. And I'm going to cook my son. So I did my part of the deal, but she's not keeping hers. She hid her dead son because she wants to eat her own son. So I guess this is the most horrible, lowest place that human beings can possibly reach. This is like people who've already lost their mind from hunger and from desperation. When Yehoram hears the words of this woman, he had tremendous pain over the hunger of his nation, and he tore his clothing. And everybody was looking at him. He's passing by ala choyma. And the people saw that he ripped his clothing. They saw that under his clothing, he was wearing a sack. It means he didn't want anybody to see that he was wearing a sack. A sack was a veilus. A sack was a sign of mourning. And so under his royal garments, he was wearing a sack. Yehoram is like interesting because even though like Elisha, like they don't like get along, but there was something to him because first of all, he got rid of the Baal of the Zara. And you see also, like he felt along with his people. He wore a sack. Vayomer ko yasal yelikim v'cho Yosef im yamid rosh Elisha ben Shafat olav vayoim. He swore that so should happen to me if I don't kill Elisha ben Shafat today, because he has the ability to help the Jewish people and he's not. Elisha Yosef v'beisoi v'askenim yoshvim itoi, and Elisha is sitting at home. V'yishlach Ishmael lefonov, and he sent somebody to kill Elisha. But before the shliach comes to kill him, Elisha had the Ruach HaKodesh that he realized what's happening. He tells the Zkenim, did you see that the son of the Meratzeach is Achav. Achav is the one who killed the voice, so he kills him Ben HaMeratzeach, the son of the murderer. So he doesn't call Yehoram a murderer, he calls him a son of a murderer that's come to remove my head. Therefore, the ukevoy malach sigru adelas v'lechatztem uyseh badelas. When you see him come, when they see the shliach come, shut the door and push him out. Haloi kol ragli adoinov achrav. Now I hear the footsteps of his master afterwards. That means I hear that Yehoram is coming and following him. Elisha is still speaking to them. The emissary, the shliach, comes to the house of Elisha. But they didn't close the door because now the Malchus was there. When they thought that the shliach was coming, then it was okay to shut the door in his face. But now that the king was following, they couldn't shut the door because the king himself was there. And he came in, and he tells, and the king comes in, he says, this is the evil from God, that women are eating their children. And the klala that Moshe Rabbeinu said, is coming fulfilled, is ma oichel l'Hashem oid. Ma oichel l'Hashem oid. That means that he was saying that the klal has already been fulfilled. The curse that Moshe Rabbeinu has given has already been fulfilled. So, like, what else is there to do? Basically, he's coming to Elisha out of desperation. He's saying already, okay, the curse has been already fulfilled. Whatever it says in the Teichacha is going to happen, happened already. Now what? Now what?